Electricity, the phenomenon of a buildup of energy, igniting a spark. Electricity is currently being used for what you're watching this. Electricity is probably the most important thing in today's world. So much so that everything the world uses, including what you're watching this on, and making the thing you're watching this on. The world uses 18,608 kilowatt hours per day. But the problem of generating our electricity is becoming a problem. Instead of looking at the whole world, for example, we're going to look at the state of Colorado, a small state that does not generate too much power, but can generate quite a bit. Coal power runs around 49% of the state. Coal, of course, is usually mined out of the ground, usually in Mongolia or northern China. After it's dug up, it's usually put on a truck or train, then shipped to a nearby port. After burning petroleum, it is put on a ship, burning even more petroleum, releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Then it's put on another truck or train, then put into the coal plant. Coal is burned boiling water to create steam, which turns a turbine. Coal is basically compressed carbon. So when it is burned and releases smoke, it is releasing all that carbon that has been compressed into the coal. Per year, 15,000 pounds of carbon dioxide are released, just to power one average American home. Before moving on to coal's big brother, natural gas, we need to know, what is the greenhouse effect? Like, seriously. In a greenhouse, when heat enters, it cannot escape. With greenhouse emissions like CO2 and methane, they capture heat from the air. Basically what it's doing is turning the Earth into a greenhouse. And with all the CO2 being emitted, especially from power and transport, for power ironically, it makes glaciers melt, rising sea levels affecting the current, which cause extreme weather like tornadoes, hurricanes, and blizzards. People think global warming is just warming it up. Natural gas is the second most used way of producing power in Colorado. It produces around 32% of the power of the state. Natural gas usually comes in at a pipe. It is very similar to your stove, heating up water. Just like coal, it spins a turbine, but it only emits half of the CO2 that coal does, but basically produces the same amount of power. Next is hydroelectric power, only producing 2% of the state's electricity. It is quite easy to make. All you have to do is dam up a bunch of water, which creates a bunch of potential energy. Then usually the water is pushed through a turbine generating power. Next is solar, which uses a special filter to convert energy from the sun into electricity. It is quite complicated to explain it in such a short time, though. Though solar is used as a mirror, reflects a lot of sunlight onto a tower of water. If you've noticed the last few powers, they have not needed any transport. That's because they're renewable. They do not need transport, and most of them don't even emit any carbon. I mean, sure, they may not be always wind, or water, or sunlight, but there's bound to be one of them. So why not make the switch? Of course you can petition companies to make the switch, but that's usually difficult. But the good thing is, the switch is happening. Many coal and natural gas power plants are closing down due to the threat of climate change. And this is looking really good for us. So, if you keep on hating these disgusting places, they'll keep on closing down.